In all the barbecues that I do, one of the things I am asked about almost more than anything is the Old Country Barbecue Pit's gravity-fed offset smoker worth it? And when I was looking for this smoker to buy it, I just wish somebody had kind of given me like some definitive, yes, I recommend this, no, I don't. But I never got that. So I'm telling you right now, it's worth it. 100%. Buy the damn thing. It's amazing. You will not regret it. Now, I'm not sponsored by Old Country, but I will say that bang for buck, this smoker is one of the best smokers I've seen, definitely at this price range. I think it's like 1,100 bucks. So not free, not cheap, but also not a $4,000 offset. Now, I have an offset smoker and I love it. I have a Traeger. I love that. They all have their needs, but my favorite one right now is this one. You know, it's always fun to be out here with the fire and stoking the fire and that kind of stuff, but I don't always have that kind of time. So as much as I love it, this is one of my favorite smokers of all time. I've been around a lot of smokers. I've used a lot of smokers. If you are somebody who wants to get in the game, wants a little bit of interaction, but really wants the cooker to do the work, this is perfect. So today, to walk through some of the features, I'm gonna do a biscuit test so you can kind of see it. I did a biscuit test when I first got it and then the footage was corrupted, so that was another one of my barbecue adventures. But I'm gonna go through some of the features today, some of the pros and cons after a year and a half of owning it, and then you can hopefully see the glory of the gravity-fed offset smoker. So let's get into it with some of the features. We'll do a walk around. Okay, so to get started, we're gonna go to the chimney, make sure we have charcoal, which we obviously do. You can see here, there's some wear and tear here, but I mean, I use the ever-loving crap out of this thing, and some people put some tinfoil to protect it, but I don't really care. I feel like that they made it this way, they knew what was gonna happen. So for the first part, we're gonna leave it open so we can get it lit. So then if we wanna go to the lighting part, we're gonna come down here to the little pit. I always do 2 of these. You can use any various lighting methods you want. And I usually do this with my blowtorch because it's cooler, but anything will do. These things light great. Little tinder bundles, and it'll light it up. We're already getting some action here. Now it doesn't have like a lot of charcoal dust, so won't always be this smoky immediately. All right, while the charcoal is getting lit, let's talk about the chamber really quickly, and then we'll close it up. I wanted to know how much stuff I could get in here when I first got this thing, because I was gonna use it to do some volume cooking. And the short answer to what I can do in here is about 3 16-pound briskets. I can do about 6 or 8 pork butts. I don't know who needs to make 6 or 8 pork butts that often, but it's not that we can, it's that, you know, it's not that we should, it's that we could. So obviously we want that. Easily 6 racks of ribs, no problem, especially trimmed, you can get more. And then when I do turkeys, whole turkeys, I can usually do 2 or 3 whole turkeys. Chickens, I can usually do about 6 whole chickens. I was using this for the business last year, and so when I had to crank out a lot of stuff, the turkeys are just too tall, so I did take out the top shelf, and I will just, you know, I'll do like 2 or 4 turkeys at a time. It really kind of depends on the turkeys, but they're just very tall. So you can do 2 full turkeys for sure, and more if you really like press your luck there. They kind of like open up a little bit because I don't tie my wings down, so about there. I will often do 6 racks of ribs. That's something that's for sure gonna happen. And again, you know, during the holidays, people want me to cook, so I'm definitely doing multiple chickens, multiple turkeys, that kind of stuff. I don't cook much else like vegetables. I know that all the advertisements always have like vegetables or something in there. I don't do that. But yeah, so the airflow, I'm gonna close this up here in just a second once I get the fan going, but the airflow comes right to the bottom, goes out the top, and it's great. Some of the cons of the box, which are not deal breakers. Number 1, the door has to open all the way. Otherwise, you can't get your things out. They'll just stop right here, they'll hit the door. So you gotta really make sure you open it all the way, and the clearance is low. Not a big deal, just kind of annoying. On my particular unit, the middle shelf is a little stuck sometimes, but other than that, you know, it's not really a problem. And then that's basically the only con of the box itself, other than aesthetically, I wish my panel covers didn't fade, but I'm a diva, so they do. I live in Texas, and that is just gonna happen. It's gonna get beat down by the sun. One of my favorite things about this smoker is that the chamber itself doesn't get hot from the inside. As you can see, I just burned myself a minute ago. That's because the sun here is so hot that it does like heat up the box, but that is basically just the sun. I mean, that's like anything else, any hot surface outside. The only other con that I have of the box is that this screw broke off almost immediately. So my cover, it goes here, the screw broke off. So that kind of sucks. The welding, I guess, failed or whatever. So I just leave it to the side, that's fine. And when I want to shut the box down, I just cover it back up. So that is basically the whole long and the short of it for the chamber space. The other thing I would say is that like I have a great thermometer here in the Tell-Tru, but I prefer to use like digital probes. I have like little great mounts for the digital probes. And I have found that that gives me a faster accurate reading, where this one is awesome, but you know, I'm often in a hurry because I'm trying to barbecue while I'm doing something else. So I kind of want faster results. From a chamber perspective though, this thing is a very, very even cooker. When the first time I ever did a biscuit test on these, it went really well. And you know, and that's cooking at 350 degrees, which you don't normally do. I mean, you do, but not always. Most of the time that the temperatures are, you know, are in the 270, 225 to 275, 300 range. So even cooking at 350, the biscuits still came out really, really good, which I was surprised about. So we'll see that here in a minute. Now, let's take a look at the fire. You can see that the little tinder bundles have burned out. So what I do is, I don't have a blower on this one. So I just take this cheap old fan that I have here, put it on high, and then that will stoke the fires. You can start to see it come up here. So I don't have the blowers. I didn't want to spend the money on them. Not for any other reason than more like I just kind of wanted the box to see how it did by itself. And then I was just fine with it. I liked it ever since. So you can see, let's see if it'll show it. Can't really tell, but the wind is going in there, heating it up. Okay, so you can see, I always let it go a little bit over target temp because it'll settle down to what you need. So you can see we're rocking at 363 because it's so hot out here. I cover it with gloves. So we'll turn the fan off and close the box. Fan off. Now, normally I would put wood chunks in here now, but since it's just biscuits, I'm not doing it. That's where they go. And then open the ball valve. I'll go all the way since I want to get that high temperature. All right, we've got it ready to go. We've got it about 360. We're gonna open it up. All right, now we're ready to put the biscuits. These are just some like grocery store biscuits. I love HEB, but I've never had their biscuits before. But either way, we'll still see a result of like how the cooker cooks and like kind of where the hot zones are and where they're not. But I mean, overall, this thing cooks really evenly. So I'm gonna pop these biscuits, open her up, bring it back up to temp with the fan, close it up, be ready to go. Now we're showing 198, 197. So we want to get the fan back on, ramp the temperature back up, and get it going to temp. Cheap fan, blowing in, temperature rising. Okay, you can see I'm letting it go a little bit over. Usually I'll do 10 to 15 degrees over whenever I'm doing meat cooking, but this is going to be in there for such a short time, that's going to be fine. So now we're going to turn off the fan and close the vent and open the ball valve. Fan off, close the box, and the ball valve is open. I'm gonna do that open all the way. Super quick interjection. I know that most people do biscuit tests at the temperature they cook with the most often, so 250, 225. I did it per the directions of the biscuit can at 350 because I really wanted to show like how well the smoker does even at a really hot temperature, and it does great. So even though normally you would do it lower, I wanted to show here that even in hot temperatures, the smoker is going to perform pretty well. So you will see some like more intense cooking, but I'm not normally cooking at this temperature in this type of environment. And obviously the closer you have something to the fire, the hotter it's going to be. So with that being said, I just wanted to point out why I'm doing this at the higher temperature as opposed to the lower temperature. If it goes to the lower temperature, you wouldn't even see any of the hotter cooking results that you're going to see here in a minute. So anyway, thanks. All right, it's been about 13 minutes, so let's see how these biscuits did in the biscuit test. Okay. Obviously, hot over here by the firebox. That's where the charcoal is, so that's the hottest. Roasted. Okay, but look at everything else overall. You can see a very even level of cooking. And this is at 350, so obviously the hotter side is by the coal box. I mean, we are cooking at 350, but look how like perfect these guys are, right? I mean, this is top. Obviously a little bit more done there, but even at 350, it's not burning. I think that says a lot about the cooker. And then look how even across the board it is. Yes, super hot, but even really not that hot. And like there's a very even sense of cooking here. So when you're cooking your meat, you can rest assured that put your thicker side towards the box, obviously, and otherwise you get some really good results with how it cooks. So, you know, when it comes to like usability, basically anything that's not right up against the charcoal box is excellent. There's so much usable space here. I mean, and you're really talking about just that part of it, you know? So, and I have not had any, yeah, that's the one thing I was talking about. I have not had any briskets go bad. And I've done a ton of them in here. Okay, as you can see, this thing is awesome. Now don't worry about those darker biscuits. Again, I have cooked so many briskets on here. I've cooked so many ribs, and I've had none of them burn. Again, you know, when you start to ramp up your heat, there's a lot more intense stuff going on. But when you're cooking 250, 275, even 300, like I've done chicken in here, I've done so, nothing has burned. I'm aware, obviously, that the fire is hotter there because, or the chamber is hotter there because that's where the charcoal is. That is literally where the fire is. But other than that, just be mindful of that, and you can just kind of adjust your meat that way. But again, I've done 3 briskets in here, 6 racks of ribs at a time, no problems. So 1.5 years in, 2 thumbs up, absolutely get this smoker. You will not regret it, I promise you. Now, the last thing I'll talk about is the smokiness. Everybody wants to know, is it more or less smoky than the offset smoker? Nothing is going to be smokier than an offset smoker. That's just the way that works. And I use a Traeger with a pellet tube and all that stuff. Like, I love it, no problem. All things are good. You're never gonna beat the smokiness of an offset. That said, this is smoky and delicious. It is very close to that. Obviously, like your fuel source being charcoal as opposed to wood is a little bit of a different flavor profile, but I don't ever tell people which smoker I'm using when I cook their food, and they always love it every single time. So we're getting good smoke profile out of this, and I cannot recommend this enough from a standpoint of you're getting tons of great smoke profile and smoke flavor. And again, all the charcoal guys that are winning competitions, like they're like, no duh, bro. We've been saying this for years, for sure. I was late comer to the party, absolutely love it. But the smoke flavor on this is very, very good and delicious. And that's not even like a, well, it's kind of good. And you really, if you just, you know, no, it's delicious. So that whole thing about if it's not a stick burner, it's not barbecue. Not true. That is awesome. Stick burner is awesome. This chamber smoker right here is amazing. Totally love it. Not sponsored, wish I was. But hope this helps. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments, and I'll see you on the next video.